So the
Yes.
Wilder Institute that you are partnered with at Calgary Schools is a big part of this program and the conservation efforts worldwide, and they have multiple different conservation projects going on. One of them, which is the burrowing owl. I wonder if you can tell us anything about the burrowing owl, because we have that featured in our soil kit, and I think it's so awesome to see that, you know, people think of soil animals as maybe a wombat or worms or ants, but there's, you know, even owls and alligators and things. So what's going on with the burrowing owl?
I love I love burrowing owls.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've ever had a chance to see one, but I did get a
only
chance
on
to go
video.
on video. Okay. Well, they're pretty awesome on video as well, but I did have a chance to go to Grasslands National Park, which is one of the places in Canada where you can see them in the wild, and they're just adorable, and they have so
Yeah.
much personality, and they're only about the size of a pop can, so they're very, very small owls. um, but they their habitat is prairie, and so I love to speak about them because the prairie biomes are also an endangered ecosystem, and I love the grasslands in Canada, and so there that is one of the habitats that, you know, we like to speak to and try to bring some attention to, because I think people, obviously, and for good reason, love jungles and they love rainforests and all those other cool biomes that are out there, but grasslands are unique and amazing in their own right. And so the burrowing owl, that's where it resides. And for the Calgary Zoo, we have what we call our facility where we do the wildlife conservation breeding, is called the Archibald Biodiversity Center. So it's located just east of Calgary. And so if you were to visit that center, you would be able to see burrowing owls there that are being basically overwintered, being assisted for survival so that they can then be re-released in the spring. So we do what's called head starting at the Calgary Zoo. And I'm not an expert in this area. We have biologists, specialists that are doing this work. I just speak to the students about it and tell them these amazing stories. But the gist of it is that we are taking the youngest owlets from their burrows, the ones that are least likely to survive in the wild, and we are overwintering them and helping them to survive through that first year, and then re-releasing them back into the wild, and then hoping that they'll pair either with each other or with a wild member of the population and reproduce and then continue their life cycles. Because these tiny owls, they're just amazing because they actually fly from Canada all the way to Mexico for winter. And so another part of that project is just studying why it is that so few of them return from winter, from their winter grounds in Mexico. So there's a lot of aspects to that project, and so far, I believe this year was our 100th release of a burrowing owl. So we've released around 100 now. So it's, I think, a pretty amazing project for a pretty amazing little species. And they
That's so
actually,
cool.
yeah, I mean, some of the things I love about them is that they can actually hiss like a rattlesnake to scare
Wow.
away predators in their burrows. And
Oh,
yeah, we supplement their feeding over the winter, and then also we give them a soft release in the spring. So we try to help them survive for a little time in the wild, and then they're fully on their own. And then when they are released, they get these tiny backpacks that sit on their backs with tiny antennas. And those backpacks are how the researchers will track them as they migrate down to Mexico. So there's just a lot
wow.
of aspects to that project.
What a detailed project. And see, I learned something here, which is I didn't even know burrowing owls made it up to Canada. In my mind, they were in Mexico and Arizona and like a desert bird. But the fact that they
Yes,
have such a long migration pathway, that's really fascinating for a small bird.
it is. Yeah, they're tough, tough little owls.
And they'll
And not
hiss at
only
you.
but they get preyed upon by other owls because they're so small. So we have
Yeah,
some big great horned owls here, coyotes, badgers. There are many predators that they have to deal with in the wild. So
of course.
they be tough to survive, and they have to have that healthy grassland ecosystem, which we're also trying to provide for them and help to protect.